What's up, everybody? Well, today I am here to bring you another vacuum that's in my vacuum collection. And yes, this is another Hoover Elite. As many people probably know by now, for those who followed my channel for this long, or for those of you who may be brand new to the channel, one of my favorite vacuums of all time is the Hoover Elite platform. I just think they're quite a nostalgic design for anyone who's grown up in the 90s. These were all over the place when I was little. I mean, almost everyone I knew pretty much had some incarnation of a Hoover Elite, whether it be an early style like this or a later style one that would have came with onboard tools. So this particular vacuum I actually got off eBay, but it didn't look like this when I bought it. When I got it, it actually had a different style upper base and outer bag that I'm guessing likely came from a Hoover Elite 2, because it was the burgundy style outer bag that was a side zip, I might add, that had letters that said energy efficient power. And the vacuum did look nice with that outer bag, I will admit. But I've always wanted an old Elite 350 to look as original as possible. And many people probably have known that I have another Elite 350 that's the same model as this, which, by the way, the model number for it is U4463-9, that I bought from a recent visit to Austin, Texas. And it had its original outer bag, but unfortunately it had two giant tears in the bottom of the outer bag that nearly rendered it unusable, because that spot was just an open area to just blow dust all over the place. So I wanted to find a replacement outer bag. But for many people probably know by now, parts for these older Hoovers are not easy to come by. And I was lucky enough to find this particular outer bag for sale, used off eBay, that happened to be for this particular model. So I bought it, and I essentially threw a bunch of parts together, and now I've got pretty much an original example of a Hoover Elite 350 that would have came from Hoover when it was brand new. And that looks all original. And a lot of people know by now this particular Hoover Elite 350 is the most popular model, with the white hood and the burgundy slide top outer bag. But anyway, let's go ahead and give you a walkthrough of the cleaner, since I pretty much talked endlessly on how I got it. This is definitely one of the more basic models of the Hoover Elite, but it is high enough to include a headlight, which is something I honestly like. I like the feature of a headlight. I know that sounds kind of dumb. It's not like anyone's going to be vacuuming in the dark, but I just like how a vacuum looks with a headlight. It just looks plain and boring to me without one. But anyway, here is the look of the outer bag. It's your traditional Hoover top fill bag. It has a very nice texture on the outer bag, I might add. To get access to your bag on these slide top models, you got to pull the latch out from this little area here. Then you could slide it off to either side. Sorry, this is not easy to do on camera. And you can get access to your outer bag from the top. And here is a generic Hoover Type A HEPA bag that I'm running. That is a cloth configuration. I love running HEPA cloth bags. I remember when I was little, a lot of my friends and relatives that have had soft bag Hoover Elites, I didn't like to use because the filtration from even the genuine paper bags were not very good. That as they built up inside the outer bag, they would have a tendency to spew dust out through the cloth material on the outer bag, which honestly gave me a bad vibe for the soft bag Elites for that reason, which is why I have a tendency to like the hard bag models a little bit better. But ever since the discovery of HEPA cloth bag and the development, and now that you can get them in Hoover A configuration, I'm much more happy with that. You can fit Hoover Y bags in this thing, but in my opinion, do the extra research and get the A bags. You will fit much more dirt into an A bag than you would a Y bag. And all on top of that, you get much better filtration. So as we come down here, here's the hood. You have your nice prominent letters that say Hoover Elite 350. And you have only what is supposedly 2 carpet height adjustments. See, there's high, then there's low. There's actually a middle setting for this, believe it or not, that you could just put in between the low and the high. So technically this is 3 level carpet height adjustments rather than just 2. And you do have edge cleaning on both sides. I like the color matched carpet height knob, which is something you don't see on later model Elites after, I think it was after 1992 or 93 that they just got the carpet height knobs in black that didn't match the color of the cleaner. So now let's go ahead and flip the vacuum underneath to show you the brush roll. This is its all original single row brush roll with red bristles. Pretty interesting. That are medium stiff. And they're very, very long. If you could look just very faintly, if you put the brush roll just flat, you can see how they protrude out of the base plate. So this has great cleaning performance even for a single row brush roll. And it definitely grooms pretty good. And another thing I like about these older Elites is that the base plate has only one single bar across the bottom instead of 3 like they would have done. I think it was after late 91 that they would have done the 3-bar base plate. In my opinion, this one with the 1 bar that's almost reminiscent of a Hoover Concept 1 or Concept 2 leaves much better carpet lines than the 3-bar base plate. I know they would eventually have the same type of brush roll, although the ones with the 3-bar base plates have white bristle brush rolls, or actually any of them after 91 would have white bristle. But this just looks much more old school and a lot cooler in my opinion with red bristle brush rolls. They almost match and are almost reminiscent of the Hoover Quadraflex in the concepts. So now let's go ahead and flip this thing on its back to show you the model number. This particular model is, like I said, Hoover U4463-9, 120 volts, 60 hertz. This vacuum has a 5 amp motor, which to my knowledge is the smallest motor you could get in a Hoover Elite. And the thing I like about it being a lower amperage Elite, it's not as loud as some of the later model Elite motors would be. And there's the belt number right there, 38528-027. The belt number is now known as 38528-040. They're both the same belt, there's just a different part number now. But the one I just mentioned will fit this. The serial number for this is 059000486525. One easy way to decode the manufacturing date of this vacuum is to look at the first 4 digits of the serial. 05 decodes the month and 90 decodes the year. So 05 of 90, so this vacuum was manufactured in May of 1990 for the Hoover Company in North Canton, Ohio, for household use only, made in the USA. That is one thing I love about these old Hoovers, is that they're all American made. You will never see anything from Hoover these days that is made in the USA. Mexico, if you're lucky. But when was the last time you've ever seen a vacuum that was cheap like this that was made in the USA? Not too many. So back here is the power cord. It's not the longest because this is one of the lower end models, but the cord is in very good condition, and I like that it's white. You'll never see cords in this kind of color. Mostly every one of them just comes in black nowadays. Just a little bit of chipping here right there, but at least there's no exposed wires in the cord, which I'm very happy with. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in, and we will go ahead and get to what you came to see, the turn on and running, to give you a demo of this thing in action. Now, the power switch on these Elites are located down here on the side of the cleaner, which is actually a little plastic rod that runs into the valley to where an actual rocker switch resides inside the motor. I do not know why Hoover did this, but I'm thinking it's to cut down on costs, because it's cheaper to manufacture plastic than copper, I guess, to run, because they didn't run a traditional rocker switch on it. Maybe it was so this is easier to disassemble so you don't have to unhook any wires. But I just like the old school slider switch on this compared to a rocker switch. So anyway, let's go ahead and turn this thing on and give you a run. And lastly, in typical Elite fashion, this thing is pretty loud when it's running, so headphone users beware. So away we go. runs beautifully smooth, definitely cleans very good, and it's a great piece to my collection. But before I end the video, I'm going to show you something that these vacuums would have came with back then. As many people probably can tell that these vacuums do not come with onboard tools. But however, there is the option for tools for these cleaners that come in the form of this. This is an optional attachment kit that was sold separately for these cleaners back then that fits specific Hoover uprights of the time. There's one for the Elites, there's also one for the Concepts, and even the convertibles, to name a few. Now, how they attach is you take your little attachment converter, attach it on the bottom of the base plate, and just latch it on. Make sure it's latched on both sides. You can stand it back up. And now you have attachment capability. Now, unfortunately, being that this is a direct air cleaner, it's not going to have very high suction for tool usage because direct air vacuums are known to produce more airflow than they do suction. It produces all right, but there's definitely some suction leakage. I will tell you that. It's not very good design. Now here's how these things connect. You just simply attach your little wand or whatever tools you have and just twist to lock it in place. Here's your little upholstery tool that comes with. Well, this is the only tool I got with it. You can just twist the lock. Now you have an upholstery tool. And another cool thing about this attachment kit, since it's got the twist and lock style connector, you can actually run attachments that were meant to be for the canister models. Yeah, you can literally run canister attachments on these vacuums from like the Spirit, the Dimension 1000, or the Spectrum, Futura, Power Max, name you. They all fit. And here's the dusting brush. They all use the twist and lock mechanism. One thing I like about these canister upholstery tools compared to the ones on the uprights, why do the canister ones only come with these rubber teeth and not the uprights? I never understood that, but I like that little detail on these canister upholstery tools. The rest of the tools are designed the same, just not the upholstery tools. But anyway, let's go ahead and cut this off here. Let's go ahead and disconnect the attachment converter. Set everything back. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Hoover Elite 350 U4463-9 in its original configuration. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.